It's our concluding moment now with Professor Afolami. Well, Prof, we have people who are asking here that does it mean that our universities don't have confidence in JAMB? Because the minister there was talking about you can't be charging more money for post-UTME. So if it's based on money, then they should perish the thought.
Yeah, I think that aspect has to be settled. The last year, JAMB tried to help parents by sending the names of candidates who, after determining the cutoff, they decided that beyond this, we'll send those names to other courses or to other universities, and parents reacted against it. I think what JAMB was trying to do then was to ensure that students didn't have to be doing post-UTME into several universities. But given this circumstance, it shouldn't be a money-raising venture. And for many universities, it is not money-raising. But for those who conduct the examination and invite everybody, like if 64,000 apply and you screen all 64, it's a huge amount of money and you aren't going to be able to admit all of them. So there is a point there that screen only those that you think qualify to get into your courses. I think there's a point there. Now, for the other category, where I belong now, the private universities, they have to screen everybody because for you, as long as it's not below 180, everybody qualifies to be screened because you are never sure how many applicants are going to resume anyway until they are actually there. It's only those who can afford it out of the group you have screened that you are going to admit. I mentioned my case. You could have an attrition as high as 50% because people cannot afford the fees. So it's important that the universities are allowed to at least convince themselves that the students they are bringing in are quality students, and then they are also not students that are going to come in and pollute the entire...
Can the university show to the world that this is about getting the best by saying this is free of charge?
Well, the reason you cannot say it's free of charge is that in some cases, some universities, in fact, hire those who screen for basic intelligence. For some of the universities, the tests are not, they are designed by experts to measure the basic intelligence of the student. So if you are going to pay for such services, you cannot be doing it on behalf of the candidates. There must be a way of ensuring that you cover costs.
Margaret?
So will you say that it will be fair to say that all of this rests on confidence between the universities and JAMB?
I don't think we should say that. I think what we should just say is that the system is trying to perfect itself, and we should allow it to run as it was doing until we get to a point where a common ground can be found and people can be certain of the candidates that they are bringing in.
Professor, I asked this question because of the instance that you've given. I mean, you've differentiated very clearly between private universities and what will be going on in the government-owned universities. And also, you've also tried to talk about, is it post-UTME screening? Now, screening existed before post-UTME because we do recall that when some of us were admitted into school, you were screened, as it were, for the course to ensure that you're actually eligible for the course and that the things you actually claimed that you said you had in terms of certificates and all, you indeed had them. But the part that seems to be brewing controversy right now is the post-UTME part, where universities or JAMB authorities believe that this is an avenue where people who did not qualify through JAMB are being admitted from the back door. Do you think that that itself is where the problem lies? That's why I asked you that question about confidence.
Certainly not. Because no university, especially the ones that are highly sought after, will not accept candidates that score below 180. So basically, putting it that way will be discrediting the universities. I do not think any public university will even need to go below 180. because they have far more than they need. And what they are saying is that let us be certain, let us conduct our tests in such a manner that we have the best that we can have out of the group that have applied. So money, I don't think money is the target for many of them, but it is correct to say...
Professor, just quickly, we've had complainants who say, we did very well in JAM, and we wrote our exams ourselves. How come it is that when we did the post-UTME, we failed, and we're being screened out based on that? That they believe that there's some hanky-panky going on with the post-UTME, and that they're being failed because they believe that some other people who maybe scored around 180 are the ones that, the university authorities are trying to bring in.
Well, I wouldn't know which universities will be doing that. I have come all through my years, it's been through universities that believe in excellence. And in fact, the admission in the place I came from is so strict and so known for rectitude that a candidate does not in fact need to lobby within the university or outside of it to get admitted. And you could see that by merit a student was likely to come in or not. I still wonder if any public university would have, out of compulsion, admit a student below 180, because JAM would not issue admission letter to such a candidate anyway. Some private universities are accused.
I'm not talking about universities that have 180. I mean, we're talking about, for instance, the Unilags of this world. I mean, the University of Ife, the ones that the JAMB authorities know would not even take below 200. We do know that the cutoff mark for a lot of courses, especially the highly sought after courses, are nowhere around 200. Perhaps you're talking 250, 260 or thereabouts.
Right.
But people claim that they do very well in JAMB, perhaps get as much as 250 in their JAMB scores, and then when they do post-UTME, they find out that they didn't do so well, or they actually outrightly failed the post-UTME. Do you think that there should be a way, perhaps a balancing act, where universities actually inquire why students who do so well in JAM don't do well in the post-UTME?
No, I think, like I said, where I started was that there was a test. There were data. There were some candidates who did very well in JAM exam and didn't manage to pass through the university system successfully. Those were the data upon which UTME, post-UTME were based when it became an argument and we got beyond that into post-UTME. So now that it's becoming a hot argument again, I think that there are candidates. You cannot say that 100% all the candidates that score high marks would be able to score such high marks in the tests conducted by the universities. But they will be, we shouldn't use very few cases to generalize for the entire populace.
All right, that's all we'll have to anchor. Professor Steve Afolami is the Vice Chancellor, Augustine University, Ilara Ekpe. Thank you for coming on today, Prof. Well, we've got one more matter to focus on here today. Maybe interesting. Join us again.